Today on Geek Devotions, we're talking about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures and how you can change the future.
Whoa!
Excellent! Hello, Devoted Geeks. Welcome to Geek Devotions, a show for devoted geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I'm Dallas, and this is
Celeste!
And if you're new to our show, we take geek pop culture on, so we use them to let people know that they're loved. So if you don't watch past this moment at all, know this. We love you, we care about you, and there is hope for you.
Today we are talking about an interesting movie.
Very interesting.
Series, and it is the beginning of Most Excellent Month.
Excellent!
Excellent! Yeah, we'll get it. All month long, we are talking about the most excellent movie series.
Yes.
This week we're talking about Most Excellent Adventure. Next week is Bogus Adventure. Then the animated adventure, and then we learn how Bill and Ted have to face the music.
Yes, it's going to be a wild ride. So, buckle up and let's do this. So as we say, we're talking about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure today. And guys, let me tell you something. Watching this movie again was a trip through time for me. I remember watching this way too many times as a child, whether at my mom's house, at my grandparents' house, with my dad. I mean, I really did watch this entirely too much, and this probably has entirely too much influence in my life as a young man. That being said, it was interesting. And if you haven't seen it, I want to encourage you guys to go out, try to find it. Walmart had a copy of it for like $7. We got it in the Bogus Adventure on Blu-ray for $7. It was awesome. That being said, it's about these two young men who, honestly, according to societal standards, are losers. I mean, flat out losers, bums. Like, they are the stereotypical 80s beach dudes. Like, they're like, what's up, man? Party on, dude. Like, that was their mentality in the 80s, apparently. So, but these guys are flunking. They're failing, and they have one chance. That is simply to pass a history test, a history exam. They had to, or actually an oral exam. They had to like present to the class what historical figures would think of their town in the modern age that they were living in. That being said, they paid attention to nothing. Absolutely nothing in school at all. And they were really worried about this. And so what they didn't know is that these two guys, these two, well, losers, they have an impact on people in the future, so much so that if they were to fail this oral exam, the future would be lost. And so what happens? Well, a dude comes from the future, gives them a telephone booth. Wait a minute, is this Doctor Who? A telephone booth that takes them back in time. Seriously, is this Doctor Who? And they travel through time on an excellent adventure, meeting some historical figures and bring them back to help them give a really excellent presentation. And guys, it was wild. Everything from Genghis Khan to Billy the Kid to Socrates. That's right, Socrates. All these interesting characters. It's a fun, like Celeste watched it this past week with me, and she has never seen it before, and she's like, why am I laughing at this? I don't know, because it's dumb and it's fun, so enjoy it. But what got me is this. What really stuck out to me in this entire movie is this one simple factor. These two dudes, who by all rights are idiots, they're dumb, they're losers, and these are things that they're called in the movie. Things that, to be honest, at times, I was called. Maybe some of you were called. They had a lasting impact on the future. These two guys changed the world, literally brought peace, and they never would have known it. Like, if you watch the film, they had this idea of being in a band, and they're gonna be like this, like the best rock and roll band ever, but they can't even play guitar. They don't know how to play the instruments. And yet, these two dudes are the ones who revolutionized the world. One decision away from changing everything. And to be honest, guys, I'm in awe of that. The fact of the matter is this: you yourself, you may not have a lot of confidence in you. You may not understand your role in life. And maybe some people have said some of the same things they said to Bill and Ted. And maybe that they've said that you're a loser, that you're not worth it, that you're never going to amount to anything. But never put stock in those things. You, my dear friend, can change the world. You can have a lasting impact on the future. I'm reminded of a story in the scriptures where the prophet comes to this group of people called the Rechabites, and he goes to them and he presents to them some wine to drink, and he's like, hey, God said you should drink some wine. And they sat there and they paused like, no, I'm not going to do that. He's like, what? And they said, our father Jonadab heard from the Lord, and he said that we should never drink of the vine, ever. And this is all in Jeremiah 35, by the way. And the prophet is blown away. And sure enough, if you go back in the history, if you go back in the scriptures, you will discover that Jonadab told his people this. He made one decision to obey the Lord. His family members made one decision to obey the Lord. And because of that, there was a lasting effect. And what is the lasting effect? Well, you'd be surprised to know that lasting effect exists even today. Because then what happens in Jeremiah 35 is that the Lord speaks to Jeremiah and tells him to tell these people, hey, to this day and into tomorrow, like into the future, there will always be somebody who stands before the Lord. To this day, there is somebody from the lineage of Jonadab who serves the Lord. They serve God in some fashion. And to me, that's amazing. This one dude's decision has made a legacy that changed the world to a degree. You yourself, the decisions you make today, they will change the future. Family members will know Jesus. Family members will know peace. Family members will be able to walk in something that maybe they never were able to walk in before because you make a decision today to serve the Lord. You make a decision today to not allow the burdens of the world, to not to allow the evils to overcome you. You make a decision to follow with what God has in front of you. And that one decision will change the future. And that's mind-blowing. It's scary, honestly. I mean, I know I look at my own life, I'm like, man, I don't know what good I've done. I look at myself from even just 10 years ago. I would never imagine I'm doing this here today. Running a ministry with my bride. Sitting here in my room with a camera telling you right here watching this right now, telling you, hey, you're loved, you're cared for, and there's a big purpose that's there for you, that's deep inside. God has something for you that's amazing if you'll walk in it. I never would have thought about that. But yet it's the truth. All because I was obedient to the Lord several years ago to say, you know what? I'm going to serve God. All because several years ago I had a moment where I made a decision, you know what? There's people that need to know that they're loved, and I'm going to be intentional about telling people that they're loved. All because several years ago, my wife and I sat down, we had this crazy idea, hey, what if we started a YouTube channel where we told people that they were loved? And every Friday for the last 4 years, we're now starting season 5, how awesome is this, guys? We're now here telling you, right here, right now, you're loved, you're cared for, there's hope for you. Small decisions change the future. What small decision will you make today? You matter. You can affect the world. You will affect somebody else in your life, whether you know it or not. Don't give up. Don't look to the left or right. Just keep your eyes on Jesus and walk with what he has for you. If you need prayer, if you need us to, if you'd like for us to pray with you, hey, reach out to us. Reach out to us on our social media. Just reach out, Geek Devotions. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'd love to pray with you. We love to encourage you. We'd love to do live with you. We have a whole community called Devoted Geek Life where people just encourage each other. We post memes, we post videos, we talk, we do stuff. People ask questions, they get help sometimes. Why? Because we made a decision a while back to let people know they're loved. And that's you. I love you. And there's hope for you. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Geek Devotions. We hope it encouraged you and hope that it helps you to be a little more excellent to each other. That being said, it's time for the question of the week. And the question of the week is, it's kind of deep. I want you guys to kind of dig in and really examine yourself. That is simply this. What's a moment in your past where somebody said something or did something that encouraged you, that challenged you for the better? Like to this day, you can go, you know what? Because of this, I do this now in a good way. Let us know. And also, as a challenge, call that person and thank them. Say, hey, thank you for being excellent to me for just a moment right there. All right, Celeste, anything else?
Podcast is coming out this Sunday, so if you're watching this on Friday, you have 2 days to wait for the podcast.
Yes. Look for Comm Talk by Geek Devotions.
2.0.
2.0. It's in all your podcast catchers and also all of our social media, which is, where are we, Celeste?
We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as Twitch.
And what do they need to look up?
They need to look up Geek Devotions.
And there we go. So until next time.
Stay devoted.
Peace and love.
Party on, dudes!